Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
So with the brand split being official, July 19th, SmackDown and Raw are going to be two completely different things, two different rosters. We got thinking about NXT.
And we just did a list of the 5 NXT stars who should be called up to the main roster by July 19th. But there are 5 stars who should stay in NXT.
And here they are. No way, Jose! I think this guy should be in NXT for a very long time. He should be like the Sting of NXT, the franchise player.
I can't argue with any of that.
I want it to be like an empty full, like in 30 years, an empty Full Sail arena. No competitors, just no way Jose dancing in an empty arena. That's what I want.
I can't argue with any of that.
Yeah, with like the title around his belt.
He is the official wrestler of Going In Raw 2016.
Elias Sampson, the Drifter. He needs to not be drifting to the main roster anytime soon. He needs to stay in NXT.
Well, first thing he needs to do is drift out of jobbing status because he's losing to everybody now.
Yeah, he needs to really either solidify that gimmick or just completely change the gimmick if he expects to go up to main.
No, that gimmick needs to stay because it's pretty funny.
It's pretty hilarious, but it kind of only works really well in NXT. So I think that's probably, even though he looks like he's in his mid-50s, I think he should stay in developmental for a little while longer. Ty Dillinger! You love the Perfect 10.
Yeah, I think he's great.
I think the Perfect 10 gimmick probably isn't going to play terribly well on the main roster.
No, I think it will play really well because it's an easy chant. People love to chant at wrestling shows.
It only goes so far, though. It doesn't really go that
People
far.
have gone a long way with far less.
Yeah, maybe.
I like that he makes his own t-shirts.
Again, another reason why he should stay in development.
No, the reason he should go up to Maine. He should make his own t-shirts and sell them out of the back of his car at events.
All right, maybe you've convinced me he should go up to Maine.
How much are they, Ty? 10.
Oh,
10.
God,
10.
he probably gets them made for like 8.
That's still $2 profit. He deals in volume.
Nia Jax! Now, I think she's going to be a main event player in the women's division one day on the main roster, but I think she has a good year, maybe 2, to really like make herself into a monster in the women's division. I think that could be done in NXT.
Yeah, she's made some pretty significant strides, since she made her debut. But she needs to get a little more confident on the mic. Needs to develop more of a dominant presence, both in the ring and on the mic. She's well on her way to being a threat in not only the NXT women's division, but on the main roster as well.
I like that her entrance when she comes out, it's just a camera angle. It's like right here on her.
I know.
It's like when Kirk was looking at the Genesis files. That's all. And finally, Samoa Joe. Now, Samoa Joe, when he came to NXT, was ready for prime time. However, I think that NXT would only benefit from having an experienced monster heel champion on their roster for a very long time. I think that it suits them.
Well, assuming that Shinsuke and Finn are called up.
Yeah, which I think is probably more likely than Samoa Joe.
Then we need an established star to add some legitimacy to the World Heavyweight title scene, because otherwise it would just be Austin Aries. And while he's an A-double talent,
right,
he's no Samoa Joe.
That is true. He looks kind of like a real estate agent, in my opinion.
Well, he's a really in shape real estate agent.
When he came out to drop that promo, I felt like he was going to do like a PowerPoint presentation, start handing out some flyers about why he's an A-double talent.
Well, he's the greatest man to ever live. That should be a selling point enough.
Again, unconfirmed, unsubstantiated.
And that's what he says.
That's what he says. You can't really take him for his word, though.
What's he done to lead you to think that he is not the greatest man who ever lived?
He hasn't grown past 6 feet tall.
I haven't either.
I know, and I would never claim that you're the greatest man that ever lived.
Nor would I, but a lot of people who could lay claim to that title, Jesus, was not over 6 feet tall.
Everybody knows Jesus is a mythical figure.